I know her. I know her. Council, are you ready? Wow, that's loud. All right. Everybody ready? I don't have my hammer. Where's my hammer? There it is.
Your gavel?
All right, we're going to call the February 6, 2025 City Council meeting to order. And Suzanne, would you please take roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Mayor Case,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nakai,
Here.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Here.
Councilmember Gear,
Here.
Councilmember Harvey,
Here.
Councilmember Jones,
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Present.
Thank you. I love when we have a full council.
Thank you, Council. Would everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for coming this evening. We will start with item 3, ceremonies, presentations, and appointments. Item A is appointments to the Downtown Development Authority, which we will be postponing this evening, and Keep Woodland Park Beautiful Committee. Suzanne, would you?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And for the public and for council, the reason we're postponing the DDA appointment is the gentleman that has applied for that position is out of town and he couldn't make it back for tonight's meeting. So he'll be here at the next meeting. But tonight, we're excited. We have 2 applications for the Keep Woodland Park Beautiful Committee, and both applicants are here with us in the audience. We have Terry Vaughn with us, and he's back there. And then we have Sheila Jimenez, and she's right there. And they're available for council to ask them any questions. And if you will remember, there's no caps on how many people could be on Keep Woodland Park Beautiful Committee.
Thank you. Whichever one of you would like to join us first at the podium, I'll leave it up to you. And we'll ask you to state your name and your city of residence, and then please just tell us a little bit about you for the council.
Sure. My name's Sheila Jimenez. I live in Woodland Park, and I moved here about 3 years ago to be near my granddaughter who lives in Florissant, and absolutely love it here. And life has gotten maybe a little slower. I don't know. I graduated with my master's degree. I'm still working, but I have a little time. And I want to, this seemed like a good start to get involved in the community.
Thank you.
Sure.
Congratulations on your master's
Oh,
degree.
thank you.
Council, do you have any questions for Sheila?
No, she answered the one I had. No, I will say this, Sheila, this is an impressive resume.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, impressive.
Thank you.
And I think I met you. I think you gave me some
I
signs
met
or
you when
something.
you were
Yeah,
running.
Yeah,
Yep.
good to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
Steve?
I'm always open for people wanting to volunteer, especially to, bring our city up and, better than it is. So thank you for applying.
Oh, sure.
should be
I'm
good.
excited to be involved. I'm finding city government to be way more fascinating than federal government, which I was really excited about, but no, you guys are cool. So,
Thank you.
okay. thank you.
Anything else? All right. Should we take them both at the same time, or
I
you
think
want
that'd be appropriate.
the next slate? Would you please join us at the podium? There you are. It's not a lady. I'm sorry about that. If you would share your,
We're up there.
if you would share your full name and city of residence. please.
Full name Terry Vaughn. My address is Florissant. I live just about 4 miles the other side of Divide. I lived here for a little bit over 10 years. I've been working up here since February of 2011 as a site manager for Waste Management of Divide, which no longer exists, and moved into our current providers, Apex. Apex is a organization wants to have a lot of involvement with the community and take a lot of pride in being part of supporting the communities and supporting the growth of the communities. And we're just trying to get out there. You know, we believe we have a lot of resources to share, a lot of people with a lot of ideas, and just want to make this basically the whole community and Woodland Park a great place to live. Awesome.
Great. Thank you very much. Council, do you have any questions for Terry? All right.
Just thank you for volunteering.
Yeah,
Hey,
and your
that's what
day,
we're all here for. We got a whole bunch of people that would love to help volunteer in a lot of places too. So
Excellent.
anyway,
so your day job is picking up trash and your volunteer job is picking up trash.
my day job is babysitting. Yeah, exactly.
Well, send those folks our way. We'll get them, we'll put them to work.
20 years of practice and all that. Before I did that, I was throwing poop, so. Right.
Thank you so much. All right, council, would you like to take them individually or together? Okay, would look for a motion, please.
Well, since I am the liaison for that committee, I would move to approve both of the applicants and thank both of them for their interest.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, council?
More the merrier.
Thank you. Suzanne?
Yes, Case,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes,
Baldwin.
Yes,
Gear,
Yes.
Harvey,
Absolutely, yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Smith.
Very,
Very
Thank you.
yes.
very yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. And Suzanne, go ahead and please administer their oaths.
I'd like to invite both of you up front here and we'll administer your oath of office.
Yeah, they provided.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you to repeat after me, but first and state your name, your first name. Raise your right
I,
hand.
Terry,
I, Sheila.
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Colorado,
and of the state of Colorado,
the charter and ordinances
the charter and ordinances
of the city of Woodland Park,
of the city of Woodland Park,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
of Keep Woodland Park Beautiful,
of Keep Woodland Park Beautiful,
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Excellent.
we're about to enter.
Congratulations. Congratulations. If I can have you sign these, I'll make it official. So good. So here's yours, Sheila, and here's yours, Terry. And Kristen
wanna say
is
something?
going to be your staff
Can I say something?
liaison.
to you. Wow. I wanted to just I just recently read an article about some stuff going on in the Springs. And I just want to encourage, I want to encourage all of us, not that you don't already, but to take these applications very seriously. And making sure that we're putting people in the right place. And that was my whole reason last week about, and I voted no on an applicant, not because I didn't think that would be a good applicant. It's just, there was nothing on the application. So I just wanted you to know that.
Thank you. Thank you both and congratulations. And again, thanks for your service. All right. Thank you, Terry, for your comments. We'll move to item 3B, presentation by the Newmont Cripple Creek and Victor Gold Mine on 2024 on updates regarding upcoming events and 2024 community investment impacts to include information on the Legacy Fund. And we have Shelby Mullen, their External Relations Coordinator. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Like Mayor just said, I am Shelby Mullen. I am joined with Caitlin Ragsdale, the External Relations Supervisor. We're just going to go ahead and give you guys a quick presentation about our 2024 impacts, divestment updates, as well as our Legacy Fund. So I'll just go ahead and pass it off to Caitlin to go ahead and start us off.
Probably a good thing that you didn't give me the clicker. I broke it last time I was here, I'm pretty sure. So as you know, we are for sale. CCNV mine is for sale. In February of 2024, Newmont announced that they would be divesting 6 assets, one of those being the Cripple Creek and Victor Gold Mine. And then in December of 2024, they announced that SSR Mining
they entered into an agreement with SSR Mining. Through this acquisition, SSR Mining will become the third largest gold producer in the United States. They have assets in Nevada, Canada, Turkey, and Argentina. And so we'll be joining their roster there. They have an established presence in Colorado already. They have their corporate office is already located in Denver, just a couple floors above the Newmont office. So not much change there. They have committed to continuing our best practices with our commitments to health and safety, environmental stewardship, and our local community relationships. They will work closely with the Colorado state regulators and local stakeholders to ensure that all of our existing closure and reclamation commitments are satisfied. We anticipate the sale to be finalized in the next month or so. So we'll work through that transition. And then next slide, please. So future of the mine, as some of you may know, we have recently submitted Amendment 14, which is our next permit application to our operating permit. We submitted that in April. We received issuance of completeness, meaning that DRMS accepted it in October, and then the public comment period ended in November. It has been deemed a complex application, which is typical. It was expected by both parties that it would be a complex application. So that extends the review period for a little bit longer. And then upon DRMS approval, the amendment will then be submitted to Teller County for review and approval. What we're looking to do there is expand our leach pads internally. So we'll be, the map on the right there shows where we're going to be expanding those leach pads. So it's not going outside of our current mine permit boundary. We're growing internally and just reshaping what those leach pads will look like to add more capacity. And then our proposed pit expansions will continue mining in the Globe Hill, the East Crescent, and the Elkton, which are highlighted on the left map there in blue, green, and pink. And again, this is not going outside the current permit boundary. We're growing internally and just reshaping things. Next slide, please. Thank you. So our legacy fund, as you may know, it was our employee giving program. It was created in Nevada in 2010. It was brought to CC&V in 2017. And then upon the creation of Nevada Gold Mines, which is NGM on the slide, CC&V became the only active, CC&V employees became the only active participants in the legacy fund. And then with the news of the sale, Newmont has decided to end the legacy fund. So those legacy fund activities will be winding down through Q1. All checks will go out to organizations and to make sure we'll close that out. Next slide, please. So CC&V legacy fund donations in 2024 totaled $189,750. Of that, $172,748 went directly to nonprofit organizations, with an additional $17,000 paid into the endowment funds. There are 3 endowment funds set up for Colorado. There's Teller, Fremont, and El Paso counties. Those funds will continue to be managed in accordance with the promises that were made to employees and the community when those funds were set up in 2017. So we are exploring our options to transfer those endowment funds to a community organization to continue to manage them for growth. Next slide, please. And then our 2023 economic impact. So our 2024 reports will not come out for a few more months, which is why we're a year behind talking about 2023. We are one of Teller County's largest employers and taxpayers. We have 430 employees on average. It can change week over week, and then 290 direct and indirect suppliers. 422 million was distributed in employee wages and benefits in the United States. We paid $40 million in taxes in 2023 in the US. And then our 2024 production at CC&V was 172,000 ounces of gold with 1.3 million ounces in reserves. So that's what we know we have still in the ground. Does anyone have any questions for me before I turn it over to Shelby? Yes.
Will the new owner honor the legacy fund or pick it back up and start it over again?
It's possible that SSR may have their own employee giving program, or that they'd be open to recreating their own version of it. The legacy fund, as it was under Newmont, is closed out as of the end of 2024. But we haven't gotten into that conversation with SSR yet.
Will SSR continue to, or Is there an indication that they will continue to keep the same employees in place?
Yes, there will be no changes to the workforce.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we'll all transfer with the sale. Thank you.
All right, next slide, please. I just got a few more information for you guys. I am going to be talking about our social impact that we had in 2024. So just there on the screen, our total company contributions did total just over $448,000. That did include $200,000 for our community investment committee, which I'll get into just a little bit later, as well as in-kind funding. We also participate in scholarships, so that was $15,000, as well as the annual school grant funding program. That was $50,000, and that went to CC&V schools, Woodland Park, as well as Canyon City. Like Caitlin just said a few slides ago, we had $94,000 for our employee giving program, and Newmont matched 100% of that. We also were able to have 116 hours of volunteer time from our employees. 15 of those hours did come from the Women and Allies Alaskan Resource Center. So we're really proud of our employees and how they want to give back to our community. So that's kind of how those numbers look. Next slide, please. So this slide here just demonstrates the localities of the total total company contribution. So that's how that is broken up. Next slide, please. So like I said, 200,000 did go or participated in that $448,000 from our community investment. So we have around 11 or 13 employees who sit on the board who review applications once a quarter. Those applications go through a review process, and we look at multiple of categories and qualifications that these nonprofits should have to potentially receive funding. One of those is area of influence. So we really try and focus our funding in the areas that receive the most impact from our mining operations, so Cripple Creek and Victor. However, we understand that we have a lot of employees who live and work or travel through Woodland Park and Fremont County. So we also do provide consideration for those organizations who operate in those localities as well. CEIC, or the Community Investment Committee, also tries to focus their funding on projects that like to focus on human development, education, skills and development, community health and well-being, environment, and cultural heritage. We also want to make sure that organizations are sustainable now and tomorrow. So we want to help most people as possible. So that is why we kind of have those developmental areas. At any point, if there's any nonprofit organization that is curious if they could qualify, I do have our email addresses on the last slide here. So please feel free to reach out at any point, and we'll be happy to provide that strategy for you and answer any questions at any time. Next slide, please. So we do have a couple of community engagements coming up. In the next few weeks, we do have 2 more city councils that we will be at. But also on February 27th, we do have an open house opportunity. So that's a really great opportunity for anyone to come see our mining operations, not on site, but we will be at the Aspen Mine Center. Ask any questions, have comments, really interact with our site personnel, and we really enjoy those types of interactions and engagement with our community members. So like I said, that's on February 27th. We have another open house on May 29th, and the third one is going to be on August 14th. We do post that on social media, so at any point, just check us out on Facebook. We post updates pretty regularly when we have those events. Next slide, please. And then here's where I said we do have our contact information. So at any point you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer those at any time. We also have those email addresses. So if you just have a general external relations questions, there's that email, or any sort of question regarding community investment, there's that email. It's really important to make sure you include the # or the hashtag, depending on what generation you're from, or else it will not get to us. So that is really important. And then that QR code for our Facebook, that'll bring us directly to our Facebook page for any updates or news that we have going on. Next slide, please. And that's all I have on that. Is there any questions?
Council, any questions for them? All right. Thank you so much for coming and
thank you.
sharing with us. Appreciate it.
Mayor and
You bet.
council, I saw some of you taking pictures and taking notes. I will send you these slides.
Thank you.
So this way you don't have to worry about it.
Thank you very much, Suzanne. That takes us to item 4, additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda. Suzanne, do we have anything?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Item 5 is the consent calendar. Council, we have 2 items. We can take them either together or apart based on your desire. We have the first item, approval of the January 16th, 2025 City Council meeting minutes. And also item B, approval of wastewater treatment plant boiler replacement contract between the City of Woodland Park and Shear Heating and Air Refrigeration in the amount of $114,930. What is your pleasure?
I mean, I have no issues taking them together.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to make the motion?
I make a motion to approve the consent calendar as is.
I'll second.
Thank you, council. We have a first and second. Any further discussion? All right, Suzanne?
Nakai,
Yes.
Baldwin,
Yes.
Gear,
Yes.
Harvey,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Case.
Yes,
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
thank you. Item 6 is public comment on items not on the agenda. Suzanne, do we have anyone signed up?
We do. We have one speaker this evening, and that is Benjamin Epley. He is on Zoom. And Rob, can you promote him, please? We'll be right with you, sir.
Should we play the Jeopardy theme?
Okay, Mr. Epley, if you just unmute, we'll be able to hear you. And you have 3 minutes.
Excellent. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, good evening. I appreciate the time. The reason for my time tonight is that I live in the Stone Ridge subdivision at the intersection with Kelly's across the street from 67 there. And I have a son who is in elementary school at Columbine as well. The intersection there in the mornings, as far as school drop off going in towards Kelly's is concerned, it gets a little bit dicey. There's no signage to indicate who has the right of way in those instances at the intersection. And I myself have probably been close to having a half dozen instances of a collision with an oncoming car off of Kelly's. My wife also, and I'm assuming if we've had that issue that there's been other parents that have as well. I guess I'm just kind of looking to see who a decision maker in the council or in the city would be to have some type of signage put up in that intersection to notify drivers traveling westbound off of Kelly's that the traffic, coming straight from Stone Ridge there has the right of way. Like the collisions have been, or the potential collisions have been somewhat frequent. Middle fingers have been thrown up at us, horns honking and that kind of stuff. And as it stands, there is no signage there to indicate who has the right of way in that intersection. So that's the reason for my statements tonight. And I'd be happy to, provide my email or any other information to kind of continue that conversation, but just wanted to bring it to your attention and see who I might be able to speak with to get that resolved.
Thank you. Our city manager, Aaron Vassalotti, will reach out to you. Is
Okay.
that okay? He'll be reaching out to you sometime in
yeah.
the very near future, possibly tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
He's pretty timely.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, it is kind of an awkward intersection with, a left-hand turn lane and a straight lane as well. But yeah, it's a little bit dicey, especially that time of the morning where there's a lot of cars, there's 2 schools down there that are
Sure.
doing drop-offs and stuff. So I appreciate it. And I'd be happy to speak further with Aaron whenever he has a chance to reach out or follow up at a further time.
You bet. Thank you so much. And our chief of police is also here listening, so we
Wonderful.
will be in touch with you. Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah, thank you guys. And I appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Real quick, Aaron, on that specific intersection, having a lot of experience with exactly the scenario that he's talking about.
if there's anything we can do with CDOT to change that left turn light to a protected left turn, that would go a long way. So if you have more clarity, I'm happy to give it to you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else, Suzanne? No?
No, ma'am.
Anyone in the audience that wishes to address the council this evening? All right. That takes us to item 7, unfinished business. And we will not be taking public comment on this item this evening. It is item 7A, Woodland Park School District IGA discussion. And council, I'd just like to say a couple things and share with you some things. I had a conversation with the board chair last evening and this morning and expressed what I understand from staff, some disappointment in the reporting that was received by the city council, as is required in the IGA and spelled out very detailed in that IGA. So I did express that to him and got a very warm reception from him. And he is going to be, he already has been in touch with the staff and with the other board members and is going to look at doing what he needs to do to cure that. And so I wanted to share that with you before we started this discussion.
Who's he?
Mick Bates, the president of the school board. And the other thing I just want to remind you is that this issue was just before the voters in November with a very overwhelming turnout and support of this school tax. So a couple of things I just wanted to share with you that came to mind for me. And so tonight I'm going to start, because I've been meaning to, at the other end of the dais with Steve. I don't believe do you have anything, Aaron, to share? It doesn't sound like it.
There we go. Okay, I can speak on anything that you would like me to.
Aaron, it's just if you could remind the council and the listening audience, the discussion you had with the district's chief financial officer shortly after the elections in November to make sure he understood the requirements of the IGA, which is a contract.
Yes.
And how that is not exactly what we got back on the 31st of January.
Absolutely. Rob, can you put that up on the screen for me?
On this screen, he means. It's up on, it's.
I'm
here.
sharing my screen
Yeah.
on Zoom. Okay, I'll just go ahead. Okay, so in the IGA negotiations, we had 2 phases. We had one phase that was to run from July 1st through December 31st, with the first reporting due at the end of January. And then we had phase 2, which will begin for January, that will take effect, that we should receive by the end of February. So in the first phase, the 1.09% sales tax revenues and expenditures will be set up using a 4-digit designated grant project in the district's financial or ERP system for their revenues and expenditures, with the exception of payroll information, because we understood that was going to take them some time. Thank you. That was going to take them some time to be able to put that in place. So for the payroll expenditures, the district will provide the total expenditures incurred, and then we'll show a transfer for the amount allocated from the 1.09% sales tax. And then if requested, the district will provide the complete payroll register, but it is understood that there would be no delineation from that. Then they would implement, beginning with monthly reporting reflecting the change to grant accounting for the 1.09% sales tax in January 2025, and will retroactively produce the monthly reports for July through December. So that's what we received, or should have received, as of January 31st. And where's my... Okay, I missed my one sentence here. The district will produce a summarized report of the expenditures by category with the detailed ledger for each category. So as of the end of January, we should have received a report from July 1st through December 31st with a detailed ledger of all the expenditures. So we should have gotten a front sheet that had a summary, and then we should have also received all of the detailed ledger reporting to follow that. So I do have here an example of what, there we go, of what a detailed ledger would look like. And for each account, if you look on the far left there, you can see the GL accounts. We would expect to see GL accounts. We'd expect to see the date, the name of the vendor that was paid, the amount that would have been paid, and then the total amount spent out of that category for each month, or in this case, it would have been a 6-month period. And so I have sent this over to them to establish what it is we discussed during the IGA negotiations, because we did expect to see this level of detail. As we all know, what we received was the 1-page summary, but we did not receive any of the backup, which is what we would expect to see.
And I know we're going to start with Councilman Smith, but one more question. You did meet with the new Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Bay, and shared with him the format that we expected to see.
Correct. What I showed to Mr. Bay was the IGA itself, and then also I showed him our statement of expenditures, which has something very similar of a front sheet that has a summary of these items, and then a backup register that shows in detail every single transaction that makes up that amount. So this is the example that they received.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Carol. Steve?
Yeah, actually, for me, I'm just gonna put it out there, is that, you know, at the age of 13, I was taught how to budget. Line items, everything else. You have the categories, and then underneath those categories, you have the breakdown of the expenditures, what it went to, and what, you know, so forth. And, you know, Aaron had sat down with the proper personnel for the school district. And to me, it's an insult because I feel that it was ignored. And we are here for our community. We are here for our kids. Now, if this board and superintendent and their personnel are professing to do the same, then why are they not doing what is being asked? It's that simple and correct, required. That should have been done right after your meeting with them. And me personally, I've spent over 30 years, you know, in this, you know, community, working with our kids. I know how much, you know, the funds mean to the kids and to the teachers and to the building facilities and the maintenance and stuff. But with what they sent over, for me, it was insulting. And I'm not very happy about it because they were sat down, they were shown the proper way to do what we are requiring, and they refused to do it. Now, I'm not speaking just out of my love for the kids in our community, but I'm also speaking for why I was put here, to be a voice for our community. And this is not how you treat your community, especially if you profess that you are for the kids. Doing what they did is not for the kids.
Thank you, Steve. George?
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. I do think that this was a poor attempt. I do think we have a contract that outlines, and Aaron's gone through this information. I do think that that should have been adhered to. Now, that said, I think, Aaron, how fast can they provide a detailed report?
Yeah. I would hope immediately. I know I spoke with the CFO of Merit Academy, who also provided a reporting, and I think
within minutes after speaking with them, we had a detailed ledger. So my
So we
expectation
should-
would be they could do it immediately.
Tomorrow,
Yes.
we should have it. And that would be my expectation as well. We know the information's there. We have a summarized version. We need the detailed information. And is there anything else that we're lacking at this point?
It's difficult to say until we receive
Okay.
that backup
That's fair.
to justify that the summary is accurate. I mean, that's,
Okay.
Thank you. Carol?
Well, first, I want to thank the financial officer from Merit Academy. She provided the input that was described and required by the IGA, which again is a binding contract, even before the district provided their summary sheet to the city. And then she responded very quickly when we asked for the backup to it. So I have to thank her and for her professionalism. But I did respond to her initial email and said, as much as I appreciate this and the transparency provided by Merit Academy, it needed to be rolled up into the district's report. So I just need to make that point first. But I want to go back to the reporting that we received from the superintendent and the BOE president in May, that they came to the council and asked and responded to a request that we had, and that was, tell us how you spent the money last year and tell us how you're going to spend it next year. In their report, they talked about spending the fiscal year 24, spending money on a program called Capturing Kids' Hearts. It's an interpretation of innovation, and I appreciate that. That's their call on what type of innovation or innovative programs they want to spend those sales tax dollars on. But after a Cora request, I found out that the program was actually paid for with money from COVID grant to the state, through the state to the school district. So in fact, sales tax was not used to purchase that particular program. That's when I became concerned that we were not getting fidelity on the reporting on how those tax dollars were spent. It's why I asked that the council consider modifying the IGA, because apparently we had failed as a council to give them the guidance they needed. We had a very productive meeting with the BOE president, the superintendent, another board member showed up, as well as the finance officer from Merit Academy. And we came to an agreement, and Kelly was there as well, came to an agreement that we just didn't give them the structure that we needed. And that's why the IGA addendum was created, and it was approved in August. We also know that in November, something I didn't support, but it did occur, and it was an indication that the community wants to continue to collect that tax for the school district. But I've had many people contact me, parents, people who were on the board previously at the district, who said, while they know that that tax is important to the operation of the school district, they also know that the community wants accountability. And that's why I looked forward to this report. But it immediately jumped out at me that the district says that they use the money to pay salaries for Gateway Elementary School teachers. Gateway Elementary doesn't exist anymore. They also said that they were using it to pay teachers at the middle school. And it's possible that teachers from the middle school have transferred over to 2 other physical locations. So I won't question that. But then from the briefing that we received in May, we were told that going forward, the district would use the tax money to pay for Skyward software program, which is something that they updated or upgraded their finance accounting system. I think that's a stretch to say that that's technology or innovation, because while it does impact the entire district, I would not say that it impacted the kids. And then in May, they also said that they would use the money to go towards the culinary program and updates for it. And instead, what we see in the summary sheet is they used it not only for that Skyward software, but also a generic line for just software. And that they also used $147,000. No, I'll take that back. During a 6-month period, they used $88,000 of the tax dollars for their security contract and salaries. Again, that does impact the overall operation of the school district. We're all concerned about the security of the facilities and the students and the faculty. But we have roofs that need to be repaired. We have sixth graders in trailers. You know, so it's not only a question of, in May, we heard they were going to spend it on this area. And now we get this report saying, no, we spent it over here. And oh, by the way, we're paying teachers that don't even exist anymore. So something is wrong. It needs to be fixed. Contracts are binding in Colorado. When we point out a discrepancy in a contract, a breach of contract, we are required to allow that to be cured. But it's a very short turnaround for it to be cured. And I want to see it be cured. If it can't be cured, be damned the vote in November. It's time to end the tax.
Thank you, Carol. Jeff?
So a lot to unpack here. Number one, I talked to a lot of people during the election campaign regarding the tax, and talked to a lot of people during it, talked to a lot of people after it, and a lot of people that I talked to as it relates to voting no on 2A did so because of the IGA and because of the language that contained and the expectation that we would get the level of detail, the level of transparency and accountability that we've been, quite frankly, demanding. And I just want the community to understand something. This right here is 1 month of our city's expenditures. This is the single piece of paper we got from the district. 1 month, 6 months supposedly worth of reporting. I don't know how much more clearer we can make it on exactly what we're looking for. Aaron sat down with them, showed them exactly what we wanted to see. And quite frankly, what we got was a giant middle finger. One thing I have said from the start is they have no intention of providing us the information we're looking for. And at every opportunity to do so, to make this problem go away, to give the community what quite frankly, they're entitled to have, they have failed and refused to do so every single time. And here we are again, discussing this again, because we cannot get even the most basic of reporting out of them. Not to mention the issues that Councilmember Harvey pointed out on what they're spending the money on. My perspective in talking to people and seeing this unfold, what people who voted for voted no on 2A in November, they did so based on an expectation that the district would perform. They have not done so. And in my opinion, the more rope we give them, the more they're going to keep pulling on it. And I don't have any confidence or faith at this point that they have any intention of providing us the detail that we've asked for. And the part about this that truly perplexes me is the CFO of the charter school has responded in timely fashion, has responded to the questions that we've had, has provided us the information that we've asked out of them. But they're a small part overall of this issue. And while I certainly applaud the charter school for giving us what we asked for, that doesn't take the district off the hook in any way, shape, or form. And quite frankly, the margin in November really wasn't that big. There are questions around the margin that still need to be answered. So quite frankly, I'm done playing this game with the district. I am done playing this stupid merry-go-round where the same thing just goes around and around and around. We make a demand, they agree, they don't fulfill. We make a demand, they agree, we don't fulfill. I'm tired of it. So from my perspective, it is absolutely time to pull the tax, and I support any effort to get that on the agenda for the next meeting and first reading. It is absolutely time to be done with this. They are not going to perform. And that is all I have to say.
Thank you, Jeff. Terry?
I'd invite anybody and everybody, including city council members, to go back and watch the September 5th, 2024 meeting. And by we, I'm talking about Mr. Smith, Mr. Gear, myself, Mrs. Nakai, we're all made to be the bad guys because we wanted to put this on the ballot, while the rest of council and all of the Merit public speakers said, give us a chance, give us a chance. We have a new IGA, you know, give us a chance, you know? And anyway, so we got called reckless by a couple of our fellow council members. You know, there's a part of me that wants to say, told you this was going to happen. As far as the election goes, the other side, by the other side, what I mean is those that wanted to keep the tax money flowing. The majority of those, it wasn't that close. I mean, it was close. I agree with you. The side of get rid of the tax money spent $0. The other side spent thousands of dollars, used CARES students to do their campaigning and door knocking. And it was a close vote. I would like to applaud Leanna Talley. I think Leanna Talley has gone above and beyond, and I understand why, because Merit is benefiting from this money and she's doing the right thing. She's reporting. But see, our agreement is with the whole school district. And although Merit is part of the school district, they have their own board and they have their own CFO. So I was shocked to get this because, you know, la la land thinking, okay, well, maybe it'll work out. But this has now gone on. This is the third iteration of this IGA, I believe. And I agree. I felt like they had just flipped us off. And so I don't know what to do. Honestly, I don't know what to do. Sure, my knee-jerk reaction is that's it. I'm done. But I don't know what to do. And so I'm glad that we're having this conversation. I'll just say again that the four of us that put it on the ballot did so because the citizens were asking us to put it on the ballot. What they did after that was none of my business. And they did very little, and the other side did a whole lot. So that tells me that it was more important to Merit and that group than everybody else. You know, again, I do want to shout out Leanna Talley. She's been here. She's been invested in it. She wants to do the right thing. And all she knows is that she's getting this money and she doesn't know all this other stuff over here, but she's doing, I think, a good job of accounting for the money that's ending up in the Merit pot. So that's it.
Thank you, Terry. Catherine.
All right, well, pretty much everybody has said in one way, shape, or form what I was going to say. So all I'm just going to say is I was disappointed in what we got from the school district. And I too was very appreciative of what Ms. Talley submitted originally. And when I asked questions, she responded within 15, 20 minutes with what I asked for. And I too, like Terry, I have no idea what to do at this point. I really don't. I'm just tired of this game. I've been playing this game for over a year. And I don't want to hurt the students and I don't want to hurt the teachers, but I don't know what to do because the citizens want accountability.
Yeah.
I'm just venting.
So I think one other thing
Council,
I just
if we
like
could please, we're going at one at a time, please.
And I understand that they have the opportunity to cure this. And if tomorrow we get what we want, great. You know, we'll see what we do, we'll see what happens the next month. But I don't want it to have to pull teeth every month. We shouldn't have to have this conversation every month.
Thank you, Catherine. I just would like to add to what I said earlier. I hear what each and every one of you has said. Carol, thank you for the close analysis and for researching and comparing. I appreciate that. I expressed this disappointment that I'm hearing on the dais in my conversation and in my email I sent last night. I was trying to see if and express that it was insufficient, completely insufficient in what the expectation was of the council and of the community. And I felt that the response was that okay, we'll do that. And I want to also congratulate and thank Leanne Telly as well. She was very responsive and very polite and willing to meet the expectations of the council and the community. So I agree with you. I know that we can communicate to them. I hear that quite a few of you want to see if they'll cure this. And so is that the next step? And I know Terry and Catherine both expressed that you don't know what to do, but
I
I've
do.
heard a couple, I've heard a couple of you say it needs to be cured by tomorrow. So-
Isn't there a cure? So in the IGA, don't we have a cure period?
30 days.
30 days.
Okay,
I mean, we have a contract, guys. It's
we do.
the I don't know what to do is we have a contract. We actually, it spells it all out right there.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think that's what we do legally is go through the period.
Carol?
I agree. I said that from the get-go is that it is contractual. I mean,
Yes.
I've had people tell me, oh, that paper's not, it's not worth the paper it was written on. Yes, it is. In the
Yeah.
state of Colorado, it is binding.
Yes.
And we point out what is wrong and expect it to be corrected. But in the meantime, we can also direct the staff to prepare an ordinance to end the tax, and it would come to first reading and public hearing in approximately 45 days. But in that time, if we saw that there was a concerted effort, a genuine effort, not an effort to hide, play the shell game with money, then that would cause us to go ahead as a council and pass a resolution, pass an ordinance to end the tax. Whether that's ended immediately, at the end of the school year, at the end of the calendar year, that would be for further discussion. I'd also like the council to consider the option of not only ending the tax, but going back to the citizens with a more defined tax, with a sunset, with specific uses, and a much more robust reporting requirement, and a third-party manager. It's something that I suggested several months ago.
Mhm.
We hoped that we could avoid bringing in a third party because we thought we could work this out, in a professional relationship with the district. This report tells me at this point in time, it's not possible. And I don't know, the folks that live in this community and care about that school district want that tax to go to the school district because they know they need it.
Mhm.
But they want it to be spent as it was intended. And if we keep twisting the language of the IGA or the intent of the 2016 ballot question, we're going to get nowhere. So I have two suggestions. One is that, yes, we ask the district to cure this problem. But in the meantime, let's draft an ordinance that ends the tax at some date certain, and that we also have the discussion of a special election to restart this whole program.
Okay, thank you.
So I,
Jeff,
think,
Go ahead.
one of the things so first off, thank you very much for that. I tend to agree on most points. I just want to remind council that our responsibility at the end of the day, among many responsibilities, but I think one of our most important one is making sure that the tax money that we collect for all uses, whether it's for our city or for the school district, is being spent in a proper, correct, reportable, and accountable way. And without continuing to belabor the point, until we get that, I just don't see it. My other issue is, I feel like we're gonna keep doing this month over month. And so, I fully support, directing staff to begin working on that ordinance to revoke the tax. Admittedly, I think it's too early to discuss the when it actually becomes revoked, whether or not at the end of the school year or effective at the time. I think that's a discussion I'd like to have as a group as to how we go about that. But, you know, they've been given every opportunity to perform. Their hand has been held. We've walked them to the water trough. We've shown them where it is, and we're not getting anywhere. So I fully support Councilmember Harvey's desire to direct staff to begin working on that ordinance. And I fully appreciate the fact that there's a contract in place here. And so this isn't going to happen as fast as I'd like to see it happen, but I'm willing to give the district an opportunity to cure, even though it goes against everything they've shown us to date. So that's the last I have on this.
Thank you. Yes, Steve.
I'll make mine really quick. Councilwoman Harvey, you stole my wrap up. Thank you, though.
Steve, we both care about the kids. We care about the school district. This is our community. We're not two separate entities. And that's the bottom line. This, as has been said, is not worth the paper it was written on. But we can fix it. And if we don't fix it, then we end this.
Anyone else? Yes, Kathy.
So I was just going to clarify what I meant with what I don't know what to do was what if, you know, if they don't cure it, what's the next step? That's what I was going with. I mean, I understood there's a contract. I understand that they can cure it. And I really, yeah, and I really do want them to cure it. But, and Carol just laid out what to do following that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that works for me.
So it sounds like, if I may, Terry, did you have
Yeah,
anything to
I just
follow up
wanted
with?
to explain that I understand what a contract is. And also, I haven't forgotten the verbal abuse that this council got at that meeting. And I don't appreciate it, and I won't sit through it again.
Thank you. Council, it sounds like to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, we have consensus on what Carol shared with us as a way forward.
Yep.
Yes? All right. Staff, are you clear as to the direction from the council? All right.
Can I just get clarity for dates?
Yeah, I do think we have to
Yes.
have a
Like,
date.
when do we want the initial posting ordinance brought?
Well, if it's 30 days, so if the contract requires the 30-day cure period, that counter has started. So we're on that 30-day already. So if we look at the calendar, just real quick. So 30 days from essentially last Friday, in my opinion, because they failed to perform immediately starting December 31st. So as far as I'm concerned, 30 days then becomes somewhere around March the 2nd. So I'd say it needs to be on for first. Well, but February is only 28-day month, so 30 days, 31st of January. So my point being is that I think the first council meeting in March, which is March 6th, is when the first reading of that ordinance should be.
Thank you. Anything else you need cleared up?
Yes, so what I'll do is I'll review the contract and we'll give you some advice about that on the date it could be set and the cure period. That's just clarification. I don't want to give adversarial legal advice or anything online. So do it in an appropriate way, but I understand the direction. I'll work out the kinks and be back in touch.
And then
Thank you, council.
I'm sorry, do
Go
we
ahead.
need a sunset or, you know, a date, end of school or end of school? Do we need to put something in there?
I think we have that discussion when it comes up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. With
All right.
any luck, we won't have to go there.
Thank you, council. All right, item 8.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
I
go
had to
ahead.
grab the mic back. Okay, so are we looking to cure this in the meantime? Are we looking to
Oh,
go
yeah.
through the entire IGA process? Okay, so the IGA spells out that we need to send a certified letter to the school district, letting them know exactly what they have not complied with. So
Then that needs to go out
yes,
ASAP.
so, okay. Will the attorney's office be doing that or?
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll need to have that done.
Tomorrow, if
Does
possible.
that start the 30-day clock? Is that what that is?
My understanding from my previous conversations is that the ordinance that's put in front of you all has nothing to do with the curing process. However, if you would like to have it coincide, then we of course will make that happen. And
Yeah,
if,
I
what I'm
mean-
saying is, if you all are asking for the ordinance not to come to you until 30 days have passed in the curing
Yes.
process, then we will comply with that if that's what we're
Yes.
hearing.
Yes.
Okay,
And that's where I came up with the first meeting
Right.
in March.
okay, understood.
And the part that I missed was, is the attorney sending the certified letter or is
Yes.
our office?
Yes, we'll send it. We can
Okay.
work with you and we'll, yes, I'll give any additional.
All clear?
Yes.
One
Thank
more
you.
Question.
Yes.
So the cure period started last Friday? Is that true, or it doesn't start until they receive this certified letter?
Yes, I'm going to look to the contract and I'll be back. in
Oh,
touch with
that's
that
what you're,
issue.
I'm so sorry,
But
Betsy.
yes, my understanding, my direction is that you would like us to prepare a letter to be sent, identifying the breach, give a chance to cure, and if not, draft an ordinance that may be sent thereafter. So the rest of it I will work through and we'll get it as soon as we can.
Thank you. Thank you, staff. Thank you, council. Item 8 is ordinances on initial posting. We have one item, A, approval of ordinance 1491, series 2025 on initial posting, an ordinance to vacate the lot line and abutting public utility easements common to lots 17 and 18 of Block 2, Sunnywood Manor, filing number 5, and set the public hearing for February 20th, 2025. Council, this is a QJ item. We are here to have brief questions or such, and then set the public hearing through passing this on initial posting. Karen. We're having microphone difficulty this evening.
I asked for the volume to be turned up. I don't know.
Please. You'll probably be more comfortable that way anyway.
Good evening. That one's working good. So yeah, I'm mostly here just to answer questions and such, since the mayor read the entire title of the ordinance. It is a lot line common between two existing parcels, and there is an easement along that common lot line. And it's the vacation of that lot line and extinguishment of the easement along that lot line that necessitates the ordinance. And so that's what we're bringing for you this evening. And staff is requesting that you approve it on initial posting and set that public hearing for your next meeting on February 20th.
Yes.
Thank you.
And this is the is it a substation, Kip? It's that area that's fenced that we put on a pad out there in Sunnywood, on Sunnywood Avenue. Am I correct? Is this
No.
you?
No, it's Karen.
No.
Okay,
This is-
Karen, it's something different.
This is
Okay.
totally different. There's two lots that share, they're right next to each other, same landowner, and wants
Oh, I
it as
see.
one
All
large
right.
parcel.
Thank
and
you. I
to-
misunderstood.
It's the easement associated with that lot line that necessitates the ordinance.
Thank you
Yeah.
for clearing that up for me. Council, I'd be looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 1491 as written.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a first and a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Suzanne?
Thank you. Baldwin?
Yes.
Gear?
Yes.
Harvey?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Case?
Yes.
Nakai?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, council. Item 9A, these are our public hearings this evening. All of them are QJ items. Item A is approval of ordinance number 1488, series 2025, an ordinance authorizing the city of Woodland Park to grant an access easement across a portion of its tract of land described in a deed recorded under reception number 652993 in the records of the Teller County Clerk and Recorder to Charles Taylor Jr. and Laurie Taylor at 1050 Lachlan Way, Woodland Park, Teller County, Colorado. Karen.
Certainly. Where's the podium? Okay, so as the mayor announced, this is an ordinance that would, whereby the city would be granting an easement to a property owner. So I've got a couple of maps here to further illustrate where this is. Lachlan Lane is up here in part of the Paradise subdivision. And this is an aerial that shows where that, it's originally labeled as Paragon Court, but this is Lachlan that comes up and around to our water tank site here at the top of the page. And then the subject property that would benefit from the easement is this parcel in here, this lot 7. And I got a few other maps and such that should help illustrate this as we go forward. It was back in 2018 when this subdivision was approved. As part of that approval process, it was identified at that time that this lot 7 would be granted access through our water tank property here, which is the piece that does abut the cul-de-sac, which is Lachlan. This is an excerpt from that staff report from 2018, where it clearly talked about the this access being where it would come from. So the minimum lot frontage was addressed for a couple of lots where they're a little narrow because they're what's called a flag lot. And then the part that's highlighted clearly states that lot 7 access is to be provided through the water tank site. And that was part of what was approved with that plat. This illustration further highlights the water tank site here in blue and how it touches the cul-de-sac. Lot 7 is the one outlined in red. What is a little unfortunate is this note here in the middle of lot 7 actually talks about an access easement to benefit lot 6. That is a typo on the recorded plat that it should have been lot 7. So anyhow, the point is this access was previously approved in 2018. So what you have in front of you though this evening is where the city clearly establishes that location of where this easement falls. So this slide shows the easement location as it's been described by a surveyor. This is an exhibit attached to that easement agreement, which is an attachment to the ordinance. And the agreement also further outlines roles and responsibility and limitations around that easement. In other words, the people who benefit from it, lot 7, they can't in any way block it. It spells out maintenance, those types of things. So this really puts in an additional layer of clarification and protection for all parties associated with this. So with that, staff is recommending that City Council approve ordinance number 1488, series 2025, an ordinance authorizing the City of Woodland Park to grant an access easement across a portion of its tract of land described in deed recorded under reception number 652993 in the records of Teller County Clerk and Recorder to Charles Taylor Jr. and Laurie Taylor, 1050 Lachlan Way, Woodland Park, Teller County, Colorado.
Thank you, Karen. Council, do you have any questions of staff? All right, then I will open the public comment portion of this public hearing. Suzanne, do we have anyone signed up? No. All right, anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on this item? Seeing no one, I will close the public comment portion of the public hearing and look to council for any further questions or a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 1488, series 2025, an ordinance authorizing the City of Woodland Park to grant an access easement across a portion of its tract of land described in a deed recorded under reception number 652993 in the records of Teller County Clerk and Recorder to Charles Taylor Jr. and Laurie Taylor, 1050 Lachlan Way, Woodland Park, Teller County, Colorado.
Thank you. Thank you, Terry. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, council? All right, Suzanne.
Yes, Gear,
Yes.
Harvey,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Case,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, council. Item 9B is approval of a new hotel and restaurant liquor license for 8465 Incorporated, doing business as Joni's Cafe and Bakery located at 110 East Midland Avenue, Woodland Park, Colorado. This is another QJ item. And Suzanne.
Thank you, Mayor. This evening before you, as Mayor stated, you have a new liquor license for Joni's, and I will go over the facts and findings for this. We are excited. As you know, the clerk's office gets very excited when we can bring you new liquor licenses. It's something fun, right? We can talk about. First thing I would like to say is Mr. Hugh is in the audience right
In the
here.
ordinance?
In the ordinance. He's in the ordinance tonight. He's in the audience, so we can invite him up. They have some exciting things that they're going to be doing at Joni's that they want to share with you. But let's start with the application. Joni's 8465 Incorporated, doing business. Joni's Cafe and Bakery is located at 110 East Midland Avenue. The applicant is John Hugh. The corporation has a current sales tax license and employee identification license. A petition of needs and desires was necessary for this, and they did it, and they were successful in their petition process. Even though the location had previously been licensed, it had lapsed, and so that's why this is a new one. They have turned it in and it's been verified. The location is eligible to be licensed. Possession of the property is documented by a lease which expires on June 30th, 2034.
Ooh.
The application was submitted to the clerk's office on January 7th. The property was posted on January 27th as required by law. The public notice was published on the city's website on January 27th. Character of the applicant is not an issue for this hearing, and all applicable fees have been paid. Clerk's office is recommending approval of this liquor license, and I'd love to have Mr. Hugh come up to the podium and tell you what they want to do.
Thank you, Suzanne. Would you please join us?
Suzanne, names again, please.
John Hugh. Correct.
Good evening, Mr. Hugh. Welcome.
Good evening, thank you. So I came into this area about a year ago in the state of Colorado. Johnny's available and I had lunch there, and it's a great place, a great location. Felt the community. Felt the community embrace us, my partner Kathy, and we just love what we do. I've got 30 years experience in the restaurant business as an owner and operator, a cook, a dishwasher, a plumber, electrician. And so this building fits for us. And we kind of get off at 3 o'clock. Kathy and I are marketing the restaurant in a different way. I think we're focusing a lot on the catering aspect of it as well. We are also increasing the menu, doing a few dinners once in a while, the kind of pop-up dinners. Staffing is always a problem, as we all know that. So once we get all of our ducks in a row, we'll be doing dinner a couple of times a month with like a 3-item menu, which will always be changing. The bakery's blowing up now, and we're getting new treats and new sweets, and we'd like to see all of you in there. So that's our plan.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Council, do you have any questions of the applicant? Jeff?
No real question other than whatever you do, do not get rid of the chicken bacon Gouda melon sandwich.
That'll never happen.
For those of you who don't know, my wife and I are in there at least once a week just to get that sandwich. So if you haven't tried it, please do.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Mr. Hugh, what brought you to Woodland Park?
Honestly, God in the universe.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. Anything else, Council, of the applicant?
Yeah, Mr. Hugh, if you like, I'm talking to James Bond. How late would you, when you get this liquor license, how late will you be open?
We're going to continue with the same hours right now, and then our dinners will probably end around 8 o'clock.
Okay. You gonna have any top shelf tequila?
Absolutely. Only top shelf.
Okay.
Excellent.
That's all you need for Smitty.
All right. Thank
That's
you.
great.
Council. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. I will open the public comment portion of this public hearing. Suzanne, do we have anyone signed up to speak?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on this item? Seeing no one, I will close the public comment portion of this public hearing and look to the council for further discussion or a motion, please.
I'll make a motion for the approval of a new hotel and restaurant liquor license for 8465 Inc., DBA Joni's Cafe and Bakery located at 110 East Midland Avenue, Woodland Park, Colorado.
Second.
Second.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Okay.
Ooh,
Give us each half.
Who wants that one? Steve?
Give it to Carol.
all right. We have a motion and a second. Any further questions, council? Suzanne?
Thank you. Harvey?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Smith?
Yeah.
Case?
Yes.
Nakai?
Yes.
Baldwin?
Yes.
Gear?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, council.
Thank you and congratulations and best of luck. We'll see you there. All right, item 9C is another public hearing QJ. This is approval of a new beer and wine liquor license for Sushi Thai Woodland Park located at 108 East Midland Avenue, Woodland Park, Colorado 80863. Suzanne.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, with excitement, we bring another liquor license to you for Sushi Thai. And Steve, you can ask the applicant the same question when she comes up to the podium. I'll go over the details. Sushi Thai is located at 108 East Midland Avenue. You will recall where Jess's Place is. It's next door to that and next door to Joni's. So we have two next door neighbors applying and getting liquor licenses tonight. The applicant is Pimara, who is known as Pim. She's right back there. And I am not even taking a stab at her last name. She can tell you her last name when she comes to the podium. The corporation has a current sales tax license. A petition of needs and desires was needed for this application because it's a new liquor license as well. They were successful with their petition and it has been verified. The location is eligible to be licensed. The property is, we have a deed of a lease expiring November 30th, 2034 for this one. The application came to the clerk's office on December 19th. The property was posted on January 27th, posted on the website as well on January 27th. Again, there's no issue with character or any of that with the applicant, and the clerk's office does recommend approval of this liquor license. I'd like to invite Pim to come up and let you know what she'd like to do. And while she approaches the podium, I had a staff member come to me this evening and say they ate dinner there and it was outstanding.
I've heard
So-
that a lot. Welcome. Pim, if you would please share your full name with us so we know how to say your last.
Yes, please. Good evening. My full name is Pimara, Pimara, and my last name Wipangen.
See why I didn't try?
That's why it's so long. Wipannengern. Yes.
Thank you.
So
So just
for
tell us a little
me-
bit about it, if you don't mind.
Okay, yes. So for me is we just open like a month or almost a month. That's why we need the beer and wine to serve with my food. For us, for me, I serve like Thai, pad Thai, fried rice, Japanese, pho, ramen, raw fish, sushi, sashimi. Right. I think you guys hungry already right now. Right, that's why I very need like beer and wine. And we neighbor with the Johnny, good friend. Yes, if anybody has something to recommend it, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the other things, I just brought a house here. That's why I become a Woodland Park
Welcome.
people already. Yes.
Welcome, congratulations.
Thank
Council, do you have any
you.
questions or comments?
same question. What brought you to Woodland Park?
Oh, because at the first time I live in Alamosa and I use this highway to buy some stuff for my supplier, like 5 years already, and I love this place so much. Beautiful country, beautiful city, a lot of lights and has high peaks. That's why good environment, good atmosphere. That's we looking for a long time, maybe like 5 years already. And finally, I grabbed this spot. Yes.
Excellent. Anyone else?
Yeah, I got a question. When things get up and going and, become successful for you, will you be asking for a liquor license going above the just beer and wine?
Just beer and wine. For me, it's not a hard liquor.
Tequila for you.
Is
Right.
sake?
Well, I don't
Yeah,
drink
yeah,
beer and I
yes.
don't drink wine.
Oh, rice wine, we have the rice wine, sake from Japan.
Sake's okay.
Right.
Anything else, counsel, for the applicant?
Oh, and by the way, nice car.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. That's why we first met with him when thank you.
All right. Thank you very much and welcome. All right. If there's nothing else, I'm going to open the public comment portion of this public hearing. Suzanne, do we have anyone signed up?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Anyone in the audience wishing to comment on this item? All right, I will close the public comment portion of the public hearing and look to the council for further discussion or a motion, please.
Push it one more time.
Don't jump too fast.
Okay, well, go ahead and make the motion. Motion for approval of a new beer and wine liquor license for Sushi Thai Woodland Park located at 108 East Midland Avenue, Woodland Park, Colorado, 80863.
Thank you. In a second?
Second.
Thank you, George. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion, council? All right, then I will, Suzanne?
Jones,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Case,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Baldwin,
Yes.
Gear,
Yes.
Harvey.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, council. Congratulations to both of you. Look forward to it. Yeah. All right, item 10, new business. We have nothing. That takes us to 11, which is reports, the mayor's report. I have one community event because I'm saving the Parks and Rec items for Jeff. There's a friendly reminder that Monday, February 17th, City Hall will be closed for President's Day. And that is all I have. Catherine.
All right, so the UAC met January 21st to discuss two new water ordinances. One for dedication of water, the other for gray water uses. So hopefully those will come before us soon. And then the other one I had was, sorry, bear with me. February 20th, the UPass Kiwanis Mardi Gras Bingo. Bingo with the Mardi Gras twist. Prize for best costume, $10,000 prize raffle tickets available. Proceeds to benefit the children of Teller County. 6:30 to 9 p.m. Shining Mountain Golf Course.
Terry.
My only report is that the Colorado Municipal League Legislative Policy Committee continues to meet, I think, about every 3 weeks. And we're having, we meet weekly with the lobbyists that the city shares with Monument and Fountain. It's a lot. There's a lot going on in the legislature this year in Colorado. That's all I have.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for reporting on that, Terry. Jeff.
All right, so before I jump into my Parks and Rec, I'd just like to take an opportunity to thank all the city staff for everything that they do. I'd like to give Kristen a shout out for the work that she's done in here. And I'd just like to remind the community that, our city staff works really hard at what they do. And when you talk to them and interface with them, your words matter. So I just like to remind the community of that. So as part of, so kind of jumping in real quick into my Parks and Rec update. The 2025 Recreation Guide, find everything you need to know about programs, facilities, aquatic fitness schedules, UPCC events and sports, something for everyone. Visit our website to access the guide and start planning your next adventure. For youth volleyball, registration deadline is Monday, February 10th, with late registration ending on Monday, February 17th. For the Meadowwood Sports Complex skating rink, due to the warm weather we have been experiencing, the rink will remain closed through the weekend. We are hoping to reopen on Monday, February 10th. For rink status, please also visit our website for the most current rink schedule. As far as the Woodland Aquatic Center goes, Valentine's Day Parents Night Out is Friday, February 14th from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy Valentine's Day while the kids have a blast at the pool. Woodland Aquatic Center will provide a fun evening of pizza, swimming, and games while you enjoy a worry-free date. Ages 6 to 14 years old, register by Thursday, February 13th. And lastly, for President's Day, the Woodland Park Aquatic Center will be open following the school's out schedule. Adult lap swim from 5:30 a.m. to noon and 7 to 8 p.m. And then open swim is from noon to 7 p.m. And that is all.
Thank you, Jeff. Carol.
No official report for Keep Woodland Park Beautiful Committee, but in my role as military liaison, I did want to bring it to the attention of the community that U.S. Northern Command, which is a unified command that's based at Peterson Space Force Base, will be responsible for what I call Title 10 forces. Those are federal forces that will deploy to the southern border. There'll be a deployment of approximately 1,500 active duty personnel. That'll bring the total of Title 10 forces on the border to 10,000. And included in those numbers are 2 units from Fort Carson, to include a combat engineer unit, not our 4th Engineer Battalion, as well as military police officers. So I also wanted to add, there is now a requirement if you're going to any of the military installations in the area, you will only be allowed access if you have a military ID. But if you do have business there, you can visit any of the visitor centers and get signed in.
Thank you, Carol. Appreciate
I had
that.
a question for you, Carol. So we've appointed a number of folks to the committee. We'll keep Woodland Park Beautiful. How many are on there now?
Tonight there'll be 7.
Okay.
Starting to get there.
7.
Good.
We're getting
Yeah.
there.
George.
That's great. Unfortunately, I was traveling this week on business, so I wasn't able to attend the DDA meeting. So I'm going to defer to Aaron on that report when it's his turn.
Thank you. Steve.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
You're very welcome.
Okay, well, actually, this is gonna hit on, Park and Rec and for our schools. So I'm doing master classes at Columbine and I'm doing flag football. And last spring, we only had 11 kids. This time around, I've got 19. And that's a big improvement. And it looks like a really good future for the Park and Rec flag football program. Keeping them excited, letting them learn and such, and, get them involved in our Park and Rec, not only just in school. So I'm pretty stoked about that. It's the biggest master class right now at Columbine.
Thank you. All right, I just have one item that I wanted to bring up, and it's just because it's the last opportunity. The 2050 Long Range Transportation Plan has been out for public comment, and this for transportation, which includes the Teller County area in our region. And that public comment period is through Sunday night. And that plan will be brought before the Board of Directors at Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments on Wednesday, February 12th. And if anyone is interested in taking a look at that, please reach out to me and I would be happy to send you a link to look at that plan.
Can you do the spoiler version? Does it include the?
Oh my,
Oh,
it's hundreds of pages.
No, but
It's very lengthy.
oh, I'm just
It does not have any
Bypass.
bypass.
Oh, it doesn't.
No.
There is a executive summary that was made available at the open house we had last week
Right.
here about, I don't know,
Lot of folks there.
8 or 9 individuals from CDOT, PPACG, environmental or EPA. There were, I don't remember all of them that attended, but in terms of community and participation, it was myself and Mr. Carl Anderson, and we bent their ear on the reliever route and reminded them that we have set aside money for a study that will be the basis of a potential reliever route in the future. But
you,
do take the opportunity to respond to that survey. I've done so.
I have as well. Thank you. All right, that's what I had. We have a couple of items from our city attorney.
Hi, I wanted to give an update on the natural medicine ordinance status. And then to also, I need a little bit of clarification from you all on just 2 points so we can move it forward to planning commission. So first off, we're on track right now to have it on before planning commission on most likely either the 27th of February or the 13th of March. And that puts us at first and second reading before council before the temporary moratorium expiration date of May 7th. So we are on track, and at worst, if something gets caught up, any extension would be very minimal in nature. So hopefully we stay on track. So I need the 2 points I need clarification are on what planning commission will address. And if Nicole, would you mind to pull up? So this map, and I'm going to actually send you all because I have a hard time reading that far, but I want the public to be able to see as well. This map was already provided to you all during the work session. But there's 2 parts to relate to this map. One, as it relates to distance requirements of 1,000 feet, I understand, the main ordinance that people really seem to like was Parker. And so just by state law, it's 1,000 feet from childcare center and schools is what I'll flush that down to. What I would like to know from you all is, 1, do you want to include residential dwellings 1,000 feet from that, the way Parker did? And 2, if we add and 2, would you want to have another thing that was brought to me was whether or not it should be 1,000 feet distance from parks. The reason I need some additional guidance on that is that will affect the map that was prepared there. And we need to have that direction before it goes to planning commission.
So I'll jump in first.
Please.
So I don't see any reason to do 1,000 feet from residences. I like the map the way it is, but I'm not opposed to adding parks either, but the map is, the way it's presented to me is fine for my opinion.
Yeah, I'm of the same suit.
Betsy, were these, one of the things that I had asked is that our current code has specific zones for medical centers. That is where I would prefer that they be located.
Yeah, that's my next question. That goes
Yes.
here. So
And, distances from schools and daycare centers, yes, on 1,000 feet. Distances from parks, I would consider, but I would like to see a revised map that showed us we only have so many areas that medical centers or medical facilities may be authorized. And I think that will change the complexion of this map. And it may even answer some of our questions about how many feet from a residential unit. We may not need that if we go back and modify this map and only address where we now zone for medical centers.
yeah, and so that was my second question. I'm sorry, I didn't. So my explanation or my response part of that, thank you, is that the map provided by planning, actually, let's see here. It was, okay, it goes, the map that's shown places the natural healing or the natural medicine healing centers in the central business district, the community commercial, and the service commercial.
Correct. That's what.
If we expanded to include only, if we do medical only, that actually expands the areas.
Does it?
Yes, so that would expand it. It would have these 3 same, but it would expand it to include public, semi-public land for establishments, which are governmental and joint public-private facilities, and it would add the central business district. So if you would like to expand it or see if that's possible, that's what we could do, but the way it's shown.
Nope.
Keep it, so we like this map
Yeah.
to provide the count to planning commission, and no to the 1,000, I don't need to include now residents or parks. Is that the general consensus at this point?
I think so. The only other thing that I would like you to consider adding, we received correspondence from a nonprofit here in Colorado that was concerned about very same things that we are, distance between schools and daycare centers. But they also suggested that we prohibit the distribution of certain edible products. I think Kelly may have that
Is this
letter
it?
there.
I'll read
Yeah,
that. Thank you.
and they specifically talked about the instances of children eating these products at home because they look really, really good, even better than some of the THC products. Can we do that?
Great. And so that's something I will look into more. I'll read this. I will look into that issue more and I'll be able to advise you all that. Thankfully, it's not something that would need to go before planning commission. So I have plenty of time and I'm glad you brought that up now.
Keep in mind, the state statute doesn't permit them from removing the medicine from the facility, period.
I know.
So
I know.
I got a question. If we're looking at daycares and schools, why would we not include parks? And their kids, unaccompanied kids at parks all the time?
I don't have a problem with parks. I thought because of how compact the community is, I thought the distance from residential units was a harder stretch. But parks, I understand. I totally respect the individuals who briefed us at the last meeting, their belief in the efficacy of the product. But when one of the speakers said, and oh, could you at least let us do this outside so we can experience the colors? That was it. So 1,000 feet from parks is not a bad idea.
Well, so we're talking about 1,000 feet for the location of their center. But if they're not going to send somebody out there that's doing a journey by themselves into the park, I'm not worried about that. It's the, the kids being around.
Yeah, that's it. That's part of it for me, but it's also the use of our parks for
journeys.
yeah, I don't think the intention is to use any of our parks for journeys.
Well, let's make sure of that.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair
no,
enough.
that's not being, that's not being addressed. That's not contemplated in the way the ordinance is being drafted. It's just the issues of whether or not you could do it outside. The issue
Yes.
is just where we want to have the 1,000 feet.
Can we have that prohibition in the ordinance that it,
Use
that,
of public-
yeah,
Yes.
use of, no, outdoor, public, outdoor facilities, or simply being out of doors in the city limits while they're conducting these journeys?
Yes, you want them to occur indoors.
Or they just have a really big
Mm.
patio.
Yeah.
That's also an
don't-
issue though, that's not, well, maybe it is, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, don't get complicated.
Yeah, and again,
Yeah,
this
and-
isn't, just to be clear to everybody, this isn't a final vote.
Sure,
This is
sure.
me
No.
gaining guidance from you all, to be clear to everybody there, to make sure that it goes to planning commission, then planning commission reviews, it comes back. This isn't a final
But-
vote. It's me getting a good draft.
Betsy, did you and Nina have an opinion about including parks?
No, that's at your all's direction, and the issue,
Okay.
and if that occurs, we have to make sure that if this map is modified in any way, are we actually essentially outzoning this from occurring? But
Yeah,
I don't want to request a map until I have guidance to be efficient.
and it's not a hill that I want to die on. It just came to my mind.
So-
Just thinking about kids and where the kids are. But what about caps?
The caps, so with caps, I'll provide, I know more than one person has spoken about caps. I'll provide you all a memo on that separately for your consideration. That doesn't need to go before planning commission. So we have time to do that, and you all can direct me on that issue later.
Yeah.
So thank you for
Anything
bringing that
else?
up, Counselor Bob.
Mayor, just the one thing with parks, we have neighborhood parks and then we have the public, established parks. So you would want to be clear if you say all parks, or if you want to just identify Memorial Park, Meadowood Park.
No, I think
Or
we
all
go
parks.
Yeah.
Or all,
public land.
all
'Cause we have-
public land,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we have lots of neighborhood parks, so.
Neighborhood parks is just like the use of this substance in someone's home. I don't think that we could, I think we would run afoul of the legislation.
This is just for where a healing center can be located. We're very finite with this.
Yes.
So it's only where can a healing center be located? We have 1,000 feet right now from everything by statute, childcare centers, whether it's be public or residential, any school. Okay, so are we adding residences? We said, no, we're not doing 1,000 feet, but would you like to add a natural healing center cannot be in existence 1,000 feet from parks? That is the issue, if you would like me to have that considered.
Instead of doing 1,000 feet from parks, can we simply just say that the treatment can't be performed or administered in a public park? Because 1,000 feet from parks, if I start to think, and I look at this map, Memorial Park, Bergstrom Park, I start going through the list, we're not gonna leave much space left. So I'm just asking across the board.
This is about the location of a healing center,
Yeah,
not the
this is
administration
just-
of the drug.
Right.
Yeah, right now you can't consume, so, okay. Take away healing centers, I'm gonna answer this question in two parts. One, by the statute, it's state, you cannot go and just take mushrooms willy-nilly in a park because you want to. It's the same way theoretically, you're not supposed to be able to smoke marijuana in a park, correct? Chief Diesel?
Correct.
Yes, and so that in and of itself is a crime.
Okay.
That's not what we're regulating,
Okay.
that's literally.
Just
the law.
healing centers.
What
Just the
I'm just
location
trying
of the
to,
healing.
yeah,
Okay.
where can we put a
Alright.
healing center? And what 1,000 feet? And that's it.
Okay.
And whether, if we do say parks, the planning department now will have time to see if we need to, if that's gonna affect an outzoning, and then it goes to planning commission. That's what I need direction on.
I don't think we need to add parks on then.
We should be fine, right? Just, we're back to.
Yeah, back to
I like
the
Back to
master
the
map. Yeah.
Okay, so general consensus then is we're going with this map.
Yep.
And we are going to, yeah, got it. I understand everybody. Thank you very much. And I'll keep you all updated and I'll send the memo out regarding caps.
Thank you, council. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
All right, city managers report.
Thank you, Erin. Just for the public, we have our first charter review meeting this coming Wednesday on February 12th, and it's from 2:30 to 4:30. The other thing that I wanted to alert the public to and to council, if you know anyone interested, we posted last week several notices, public notices for openings for positions that PPACG is looking for different committees that they have. For instance, they're looking for someone to serve on their air quality technical committee, their commission on aging, their mobility coordinating committee. So regional advisory council, all different kinds of committees. And so if you know someone that would like to do something else, maybe not one of our boards and committees, we have these committees available that council would appoint them to through PPACG. Thank you.
And just a side note on that, the Area Agency on Aging is an important one that is probably the priority in that list. So if you know someone that would serve well in that position, encourage them to at least inquire about it. If you wouldn't do that for us, please. Thank you, Suzanne.
You're welcome.
All right. I have two updates for you all tonight. First is Walmart will be going through a pretty significant remodel that they will be starting in March. You are going to start seeing quite a bit of construction equipment and connexes and things coming in to the parking lot beginning in the middle of February. So as everyone starts to see that, that is normal. It's okay. They're doing a remodel, and the remodel is going to be from March through June. I understand that it's going to really give a nice facelift to the store on the inside and hopefully will increase their tax base. So that should be nice.
There were people out there plugging the holes in the parking lot this week.
Yes,
So you know.
the manager of Walmart informed me that they are doing a lot of pothole repair beforehand, and then he said they expected to redo the parking lot in August. So that's the update that we're hearing. As far as the DDA meeting, they had a very productive meeting this week. And at that meeting, they did agree to and go through all the terms for the micro grant. So the DDA board did approve the micro grant program. We are working closely with the DDA attorney at the staff level to develop that application and get that all situated, because we will be the front face to receive the applications as they come in. So at the February 20th meeting, I will bring to you an initial posting for a supplemental to approve that $150,000 for your consideration. So you'll have that at February 20th and then the March 6th meeting. All right, that's all I have for you. I think Kip's going to come up and give a little update on 67. And then I think Chief Deisler wanted to address
Can
you
I
as
ask
well.
one question before Kip? Can I, George, does the DDA reach out to new business owners and let them know about the TIF funds?
That's a good question. Actually, John has left, but yeah, I think that should be part of the effort for sure. I don't know if we hadn't talked about it in the meetings I've been. Do you have any insight on that, Aaron?
I've not seen that.
Okay, that's a good point, Terry. Yeah, I've been talking to businesses and letting them know. People, yeah, I think we need to put together something more.
There are at least two businesses that I know that have gone out of business and had
Is that,
Well,
is that a TIF agreement or are you talking about
no,
the micro
no,
grants?
this is the micro grant.
Oh, good.
Oh,
So
no.
TIF money, it's a little bit more involved in terms of improvements or new builds.
Yeah.
So there are more, it's more complex than just a new business coming into town and getting a TIF agreement. They can't, not every business can just apply.
Yeah. Thanks for the clarity. I thought you were talking about the mic.
Okay, Highway 67 between Evergreen Heights or County Road all the way down to Kelly's. And then a little bit further to the north of Kelly's, CDOT's project there. They will be starting in March doing tree removal. Fortunately, they will be putting those ditches in pipes and widening the road. There's gonna be a little bit of medians that are gonna be installed in there as well. Unfortunately, it's a pretty long project. So I know we put up with Highway 67 over there at Tamarack Parkway. Last summer, this summer, we have this one to wrestle with, if you will. But very excited. Those ditches cause a lot of concerns, obviously, a lot of erosion. So that'll be put in a pipe and there's gonna be a little bit of water line work they're gonna have to do with some lowerings to get that stormwater to work. And then further north from Kelly's, they will continue with the stormwater pipe. But they'll only be resurfacing basically from Kelly's to Evergreen. Yes, sir.
So does that include the intersection of County Road Evergreen and 67 or just right to the north of that?
The pavement plan that I saw it just to the north of that.
Okay.
So
Any updates from CDOT on when they plan on fixing that south to 24?
I do not know of
Okay.
that yet.
We haven't received an update. Last we heard it was out to bid, but we
Okay.
have not heard anything official.
Cool, thank you.
We're hoping soon.
Yes. I will inquire of that. We have our workshop tomorrow for our Wednesday meeting for PPACG. I'll ask CDOT about that.
Cool.
And
All right.
Chief,
Chief.
Thank you all for giving me 2 minutes. I kind of snuck in. See Suzanne's already on her clock. Sometimes ways to improve service level are complex and require a lot of work. And sometimes I look at something and look at it as low hanging fruit. And this is one of those things I like to show you. You may have seen these in your travels. I don't know, but this is called a LifeVac. This is an airway obstruction removal tool. And we recently all went through CPR training and we saw these. And I've seen these in the news before. You likely have seen them in your travels. But we're starting the training on these now. We're rolling these out to all the officers. They'll carry them in their gear bags. They do have an adult and a pediatric application. And hopefully we can just use this as one small way to perhaps increase that service level should anyone need us, in an emergency medical situation. Having done at least one Heimlich in my career where I've cracked ribs, was a successful one. Hopefully this will be a little less harsh on a victim. But nonetheless, this is our newest, latest and greatest thing we're training. We're putting them out on the cars right now and you never know, maybe I'll bring you a life-saving award on one. So that's all. I wanted to share that just to kind of let you guys know that's what we're doing. And
Demonstrate on kit how it's used.
throwing you right under the steamroller. In any event, thank you all.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. And that is all. So we are adjourned.